It is episode 466 of the Generation X-Wing podcast, and we're diving into the 90s cult hit Hackers, packed with cyber chaos, an awesome soundtrack, and Angelina Jolie in a pixie cut. Fire up that dial-up, grab your handle, and get ready to hack the planet!
Did you say grab your handle?
He said grab the handle.
Grab your handle. It was, grab your handle.
Grab your handle, kids. You don't have one? Grab your neighbor's.
I need you to realize.
You superimpose the little vegetable when you say grab your handle. The courgette.
Right?
Grab your eggplant.
I appreciate you using the term handle because it's so just cheesy 90s hacker shit. But yeah, you say grab your handle and I turn into a 4-year-old.
Welcome to the Generation X-Wing podcast, a modern look at a retro lifestyle. My name is Rob Williams and I'm here with
Jamie Pale Rider.
As well as
Steve Hose-Nose Lewis.
As well as
Steve 3.
Smooth as
We've got the giggles. As Rob said, grab your handle.
Grab your handle. Oh my god. Movie night.
All it took was Hose-Nose pausing for his intro and I lost my shit again. I just finished giggling.
To me, it was just a vague look as he looked at the cameras, if that's going to help.
I'm confused.
I'm busy grabbing my handle.
I'm used to when Rob does the thing where he slides us all onto the screen.
That's
a good cue.
There we go. There you go. Slide him in. There.
Burgundy.
Okay. All right. So today it's movie night. I'm picking one of my favorites. I've been meaning to, ever since we started this podcast years ago, over about 10 years ago, I've wanted to talk about this movie, and it was a favorite of mine back in the 90s. And now I'm finally getting the opportunity to talk about it. It's really excited. I'm so excited. It's ASMR time. But
you know, when I was muted when I was muted earlier, I muted so I could open my soda.
Oh, really?
And then I forgot to unmute.
I want to hear the ASMR.
No,
Are you drinking some more
endorse
crappy off-brand cola from the dollar store?
No, this is straight Coke. So
product placement demonetized.
Yeah, right. They don't mind that. They don't mind that. Anyways, this is the 1995 American cinematic wonder called Hackers. I love this movie, and when I chose it, I was a little worried because I haven't seen it in quite a few years. I own it in DVD form, not Blu-ray form, in DVD form,
but I never watch it.
Well, no, it's been a while since doing this podcast. We're always watching other movies. I don't like to watch a movie again and again and again. It actually ruins it for me. I've seen Star Wars maybe once in the last 3 years. Empire Strike Back, Return of the Jedi once in the last 2 years or so. Just because I don't want to kill it with repeated watches.
I saw Star Wars once in the last week.
Yeah, me too. I can tell you this. As a survivor of watching movies multiple times, it doesn't ruin it if it's that good a movie.
Yeah,
for you.
Exactly.
You.
Mm. No, just in general. If it's that good a movie, it doesn't ruin it.
You're wrong,
for you.
Rob.
For you. I'm wrong.
Rob is wrong.
Yeah. So anyways, so I haven't seen this in a while, and I was a little worried because I had those nostalgic glasses on. And I was like, okay, let's watch this. We've been watching so many movies and analyzing it. This is the first time I'm actually going to analyze the movie instead of just sitting there and let it feed my brain. And I got to tell you, I was super excited after the end. I was like, God, I actually enjoy this more now. Seeing it in adult eyes. And no, I wasn't wrong.
Oh, so his face. So good.
But I want to know, what surprised me most of all about this movie was that you guys actually genuinely seemed happy to review this movie before we talked about it. And it was like, when I mentioned this movie, I was expecting people to kind of groan like I was picking Wild Wild West.
Well, you set it up before you said the name of the movie, you set it up you guys aren't going to like this.
Because you never like any of my movies.
And that's true.
It is true.
Everybody together now.
Yeah. There's one thing we can rate 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know my history of movies is not great with you guys, but I don't do it for you guys. I do it to actually.
Exactly.
Sometimes I
Well,
pick
like,
the movies just to
How
see.
fun is the discussion if we all agree about everything?
But I was actually quite surprised you guys were somewhat excited to see this movie. So now I'm really curious to see what this discussion is going to be like. It doesn't matter if you hate it, as you already know. I mean, you guys don't like my Waterworld, and
No, nobody likes that
somehow
movie,
that's not true.
Kevin
at all.
Costner doesn't even like that movie.
I don't freaking care about Kevin Costner.
The water doesn't like that movie.
Yeah, Steve's massive jug was an extra on that movie and hated every second of it.
So I wanted to ask you guys. Let's start off with Steve 3. First of all, we always talk about when did you see this first? When did you first see this movie? So, what about you, Steve?
I don't think I ever watched this movie through from beginning to end ever.
Like, did you catch scenes of it somehow?
I think the only scenes I've seen from the day it was born was probably all the scenes, which were quite a lot, of Angelina Jolie's naked breasts.
That was like a second.
There was quite a few of them, though.
You wore at the tape on that one.
You know, to be honest, and it would have just been the people saying, "Did you see that?" And I'm not sure if it was her first movie she's done, but they certainly used her in that way. She's got a pretty enough face, man. You don't need to keep putting her in see-through clothes.
Well, it wasn't see-through; it was actually no clothes. So, but welcome to the 90s. But how'd you feel about the movie now?
Do you want me to answer that now?
Just brief summary. What'd you think?
I got through it. I didn't fast forward and I didn't switch it off. And I said,
ringing endorsement. I think that's on the box.
We're not going to talk about it, right? So I didn't skip to the end. I didn't get fed up. And I would watch it again because I know Ali hasn't watched it. So I would watch it again just to watch it again.
Just to see the breasts. All right. Jamie, when's the first time you saw this movie?
When it first came out on home video.
Yeah.
100%. Like, it was, God, I feel like it's one of those weird movies where it almost hits cult status like immediately.
I agree.
And this is one of those movies for sure. This, honestly, if you would ask me, like, you know, what's the fastest a movie has ever hit cult status, this would be my one with a bullet. Like, it's so weird. Like, it felt like it was already cult status by the time it hit home video, and I was like, okay, I got to see this movie. I don't know why, but yeah, it was way back when.
Okay, and Hose Nose.
I did not see this in the cinema. I did not rent this. I think it's like Steve. I saw a lot of bits and pieces on the TV. And then I think the first time I actually saw the whole thing through was a few years ago when I don't know, I was on Tubi or something, and I sat down and watched it. Yeah, I was like, whatever. Let's kind of get pull this Band-Aid off kind of thing. Yeah. Saturday, drunken or hungover Saturday or something.
Did you need the adverts to get you through it, or?
Oh, totally. I love to see what the BC government's doing for me these days. Preventing forest fires.
Not in this economy.
So I saw this movie probably much like you guys when it first, you can rent it. I don't know how I discovered this movie. I feel like somebody introduced this movie to me when I was working at the Disney store. We would do movie nights there. We'd all take turns, and somehow I think this one was one of the movies that somebody picked, and I remember digging it like right away. I remember like these movie nights we do with our friends at the Disney store. They said they told you pick any movie and you have to watch it. And you have to watch it. You have to watch it. I brought up The Meaning of Life by Monty Python. Got 10 minutes in, they turned it off. Said we're changing the rules.
What the hell? No.
Yeah.
Where are these people?
Rules.
Yeah. Well,
rules are rules. It's what separates us from the animals.
Yes. Well, this animal was almost kicked out of the house for when showing that movie. So any which way. So I remember seeing that back in probably 95 when I was working at the Disney store, and immediately drawn to it, loved it, bought it on tape. The soundtrack about two versions of the soundtrack. There was the Hackers for first original one, and then there was a Hackers Squared, which was the second one, and obviously, and I didn't get the third one, but it's just like it drew me into that whole. Yeah, there's Hackers, Hackers Squared, Hackers Cubed, and then there's the Hackers.
If I remember rightly, there was the musical sound, there was the soundtrack of the movie, and then there was the music inspired by was the other
kind
album.
of. There were a couple songs on the Hackers Square that were actually in the movie that were not on the original soundtrack.
Yeah, I think 2 of them or something.
Yeah, 2 or so.
Wait, we're not talking about sequels like to the movie. We're talking about
soundtracks.
Extras.
Soundtrack.
Yeah. Okay.
Around this time, I think even Trainspotting did the same thing. Trainspotting had the original soundtrack, and then they had a second one following up because, hey, you like this? Yeah. How about this? And
because most of it was from British artists, so they hadn't heard about it in the States, so they wanted to get more of it, probably.
It was a great way of pushing a lot of new bands because you didn't have anything like YouTube or anything like that. So you're just like, I want to hear more of these guys. So then the soundtrack just caught me. And that was, I always talk about how the soundtrack to this movie was my gateway to techno music. So, and you guys start calling me Tires for some reason from, what is it? Inner Space? Is that what it is?
What? Tires?
From Inner Space?
Wheels, Tires? Is that the guy?
Tires.
It is Tires. I got it right the first time. All right.
Yeah. Well,
you called me the last time.
The other day. I called you out on it.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot and I don't know any names. So, anyways, just to give you a rundown of the story, and I had to write this down because, like I said, you guys do such a good job. I want to keep up with you guys. Hackers 1995 is about Dave Murphy, a teenage hacker known as Crash Override, who joins forces with Kate Libby, aka Acid Burn, that's Angelina Jolie's character, and a crew of fellow hackers, serial killer, Lord Nikon, Phantom Freak, and Joy. And they discover a plot by a corrupt corporate security officer named Eugene the Plague. When Joy accidentally stumbles upon a hidden computer virus and the group is framed for cybercrime, they must outwit the Plague and the authorities to expose the truth. So a good little synopsis there. Wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of the storyline? A lot of people, I've been watching a lot of reviews of this movie and when preparing for this, and a lot of the reviews were done by kids who are like late millennial Gen Z, and they obviously don't get it. They laugh at it. It's silly. And they said the story's a mess. But I want to ask you guys, what'd you think of the storyline? Did you dig it? Start with Steve 3.
I mean, I think this is the first time I've watched it from beginning to end. And so I don't know if it's fair to me to say that I felt like it was the same story I've seen in so many of these types of movie, down to the freaking virus and what it does by taking a penny here and a penny there, and if you do it and then hide
Superman 3.
But Superman 3, Office Space. I can think of so many movies where they just take this dime and they do it a million times, and then they want to retire. And so I felt like the story was kind of old, but there's not much more you can really do with it, right? Because if you're going to get the kids into hack a foreign country's secrets or something, it's not really I can't think of that being a sort of light-hearted adventure. It's more, So it was like, okay, what else are you going to do? That was a
pretty straightforward story.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are kind of vibing with that. What about the characters though? Because what's really unique about this movie is when they were first planning this movie, it was originally written by someone who really adored the hacking community back in the probably late 80s. There's a lot of actual hackers who they consulted to make this movie look realistic, and it is praised by quite a few people of this time and generation, saying, you know what, that's actually pretty accurate, because a lot of the people who reviewed this movie when it came out thought this was silly, dumb, and unrealistic, except for some reason Siskel from Siskel and Ebert, or was it Ebert? One of the two. And but a lot of the youth dug it, and they were drawn to it. And I think with the casting that they had a lot of young, unknown people, like Jonny Lee Miller. This is his first major movie. This is Angelina Jolie's first major movie, so all the young heroes are newcomers, but all the older villains are people you recognize. I mean, Fisher Stevens, Bracco, even Penn from Penn and Teller. He was in here, and there's actually a connection with Penn, why he's in this movie. But it's just like they're known, recognized adults going against the unknown kids, and I think that's what made this a unique casting. But Hose Nose, did you dig the characters at all? Were you vibing at all with the people in the movie?
I don't know. I mean, how old is this movie? 30 years?
Yeah.
How to say you're into rave culture without saying you're into rave culture, right? And
they were at a rave.
I tell you what, Serial, and this, somebody's probably going to get mad at me on the internet and hack my computer. I can't stand that freaking character. I couldn't stand him. I like Matthew Lillard. I think he's a great actor, but that character I could not stand.
He's crazy, man. He's crazy.
He's so weird and
radical. He's so crazy. He doesn't live anywhere. He's the ultimate hacker, man.
All the things I lost, I missed my mind the most. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I'm not even in this class. Some reason I'm hanging out in advanced English class. What?
Yeah, where some high school kids are quoting Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
So I don't know. The other characters.
What was the question?
Yeah, some of the characters, and did I dig them? The answer is no.
Okay, so let's start with there then. Who was your favorite character in the movie?
Me?
Hang on a
minute. Who was my favorite character? My favorite character was Agent Dick Gill.
So the grumpy old pisser.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
great. Yeah,
only because he was Bunk Morgan from The Wire. Because I love that character in The Wire so much.
Jamie, how about you? Who's your favorite character in the movie?
Oh,
God.
It's hard. Yeah.
Sorry to turn out to be another Waterworld.
There's so many to choose
from. A little bit,
that
yeah. This spoiler, this movie did not really hold up for me.
No. Okay. No. All right.
I like. So you talk about the story and the story being done before. I actually liked. At one point, I had like this epiphany almost that like the overall story, like the plot of the movie, is actually interesting, and it almost felt like it was brought down by like the characters. Like it like they took this decent plot of a movie and just turned it into a bit of just a like a cartoon or like a clown show.
I agree. It's like they had the C team on board for what could have been.
It's interesting, right? Like
a bunch of that, or it's just the wrong director. Yeah, it was.
Sorry,
something.
What was that? Jamie, you said?
Well, like just the idea of having like these young outcasts framed for a crime, like hacking, murder, whatever. It's interesting, and then them being the underdogs, having to like beat the rap and turn it around on the bad guy. Like that's a fun story. It's a fun plot, but it was tough to get around. Like they were just, everything felt like it was just dialed right up to 11. Where it's just like everybody's crazy characters, bleh, and they all hang out at a rave 24/7. And
we're going to rollerblading.
Yeah, and they're going.
Did we mention it's the 90s? Rollerblades.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to rollerblade everywhere, especially when you're being chased by the police. Because BMX is done, man. It's rollerblades.
So I mean, if I had to pick a favorite character, probably Freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Freak was probably my favorite, just because he's really funny, especially like when Joey's just like doing Joey shit, and he's like, "If you say dude one more time, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you." Like that was a funny line. It was a good delivery.
Fun fact about Freak: he auditioned for the role of Robin in Batman and Robin twice. He got called. He was nearly Robin in that.
He was the guy with the bob, right?
With the bob.
Yeah, the guy who's always wearing like leopard print.
In my notes, because I take notes as I go through the movie, right? My first note is that the dude from Con Air who was like,
yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And it was.
Yeah.
That's the
100%.
first thing that came into my head after watch this whole
guy.
intro. In we go, and is that the dude from Con Air?
I get that.
Absolutely.
I got him confused. I thought he was Claire Danes' friend in My So-Called Life.
Oh, he was
Deep cut. No, and that guy.
I love that show.
Yeah, I looked that guy up. That guy's like one of the doctors on Star Trek Discovery.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah, mind blown.
Right.
You're welcome.
I thought that guy looked familiar. Damn it.
Steve, favorite character for you?
Johnny Lee Miller's mum. She was
pretty
solid.
cool. She was a cool mom.
She was solid all the way through the movie. She was solid, and she came through a winner at the end. She really played it for me.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow. Okay, like my favorite character was freaking serial killer. I freaking loved him.
So I was going to say Rob has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever, and then he just did it anyways.
Every time he was on, I freaking loved it. He was weird. It was like Pauly Shore without being Pauly Shore for me. And
I get that.
He was totally playing that type of character. But his character, a lot of people were ragging on his character back in the days. It's like he's so unrealistic, and the director based him on an actual person that he knew, and it was just like. So I don't know what to do. It's just
he had the confidence of your everyday nerd, like hacker nerd for sure. He had that persona. I know everything for sure, but there was something wrong there. It was like a cross between so many baddies, like
baddies?
Yeah, the baddies, the bad guys. Of all these old adventure movies, he just reminded me of a terror, like a horrible king or the sheriff, or it was just the beard was freaking me out, the hair was freaking me out. His relationship was freaking me out.
You're talking about Stephen?
Are we talking about the bad guy? The guy who was
I'm talking about serial killer.
Matthew Lillard.
Sorry.
The Fisher Stevens character was my least favorite next to Bracco. I couldn't stand she didn't even have to
pretty bad.
Movie, to be honest with you.
Was that a wig she was wearing?
Oh God, yeah. Amy said to me, "I hate that blonde wig she's wearing."
That was my.
Did Amy see this?
That was my third comment. That's a terrible wig.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta know what Amy thought.
I don't know. I don't think she dug it very much.
I didn't think so. I didn't think this would be a movie that.
This I don't know who said it. This did not age well. This was not a fine
his name
wine.
though. Was that his name? Serial killer.
Serial killer is Lillard's character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, the Plague is Fisher Stevens.
Yeah, this is a wine that opened and went south.
Yeah, but are you looking at that with 2025 eyes though? Because this is
we're watching it in 2025. Right?
Yeah, but you can't keep doing that to all these movies. I'm sorry, it's just like
but we have to though.
You guys
we haven't seen it.
I beg to differ on that one, because when we watched what was the movie we just recently watched with all the special effects?
Total
Recall. Some of that didn't age well. And I got it, but
I'm not talking about the special effects and everything. I'm talking about the character,
the overacting,
the clothing, the overacting, the everything.
But that's the 90s. This was totally a 90s movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie
for better or worse.
This is a 90s movie. Yeah. This is a 90s movie.
Yes, it was intense. It was like watching a Capri Sun commercial for the next hour and a half.
Who was Rob? Just to roll it back in before we get to all the favorite stuff. But who was the director? Who was the director of this one? Because I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really didn't get into that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I was just. It's directed by Ian Softly. Who did other movies such as, I apologize for not having this.
My best friend's wedding.
K-Pax, Inkheart. I know about K-Pax. Backbeat. Backbeat was a better one.
Beatles one.
Because to be fair, I'm not slating it as a terrible movie in any way whatsoever. I think you're 100% right. It is so 90s movie.
Oh yeah,
you remember what's the other one we watched? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Same thing for me. Watching it now for the first time, it's such a 90s movie of like crazy, mad. Look at us, we can do this. We can say what we want. We're crazy. We're the kids of America. Blah blah.
That was a little more professional. That movie, I feel. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's the vibe I got from it, and it honestly just felt like the casting was kind of there, but not quite. Like each character could have probably swapped roles and it may have been better, but even the head of the FBI or the Secret Service, who spent his career looking after the president, just seemed like a dumbass, like a bumbling freaking idiot, rather than being a I don't know. It was weird to me, but again, it was very 90s, you know?
Yeah, I totally get that. Just what'd you think of? Okay, so let me ask you this: what'd you think of Angelina Jolie? This is her first role. What'd you think of her character, her acting, or just her in general? Besides her seeing her bits and pieces, Steve 3. But Hose Knows, what'd you think of Angelina Jolie in her first role?
I thought it was all right. She didn't bother me.
She didn't bother you. God, another
high on the
I
praise
put that
from
on
Hose
that's the
Knows.
review. She didn't bother.
Dude, I want that on a t-shirt.
But just a picture of her, like her working on the computer in a see-through top. She didn't bother me.
Yeah, Hose Knows Lewis, 2025.
I mean, it's not like the other characters who I wanted to slap half the time, right?
Yeah.
So C3, you've seen Trainspotting, I'm assuming, right? Johnny Lee Miller in that movie.
Yeah.
Very different Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah. Kind of English version, you know?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have a question. Actually, you mentioned that. Let's ask this question more. Can we
do the first one first?
Okay, go with that.
Well, only because I thought Angelina Jolie's portrayal of a character was really good, actually. Okay. I thought that she was solid all the way through it, and I think she came across as the character that she was supposed to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't not believe she was that character. And I thought she acted it pretty well, which is probably why she went on to do everything she did. But,
yeah. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Honestly, I'm not being prudish or anything like that. I mean,
no.
But to me, it was like, it was too obvious for me that they didn't need to do that with her. She would have sold it. She got a beautiful face, a beautiful 100%. Look. You know, the way that she's
really charismatic.
Right. And so I just felt like that was just milking it a little bit too much. But I thought the portrayal of the character was good, man. I can't knock her for it.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking that all the way through. Like, I can see in this movie why she went on to be a big movie star.
Yeah.
It was like she really, like, she steals a lot of scenes that she's in when she's not the focus. But like, she was really charismatic in that movie.
It kind of reminds me a little bit like Sharon Stone. Like, she did a good job in the movies that she was in. She didn't necessarily have to do it with in the way that they did it. She came across as a good character regardless. But I can't knock her.
Even like she was pretty over the top too, but I felt like she sold it a little bit better as an actor.
Yeah,
like she was way more believable than a lot.
100%. Just the portrayal of, like I said, of that character, the way it came across, I thought worked. And again, it could just be down to the direction and the way that the director was pushing them to be over the top with it. Who knows, right?
So I got a question for Hose Knows and Jamie then. Johnny Lee Miller being an English actor, or the English or Scottish, one of the two. Did you buy his American accent?
Not for a second.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as we turned it on, we're like, wow, this guy's really not American.
Did you know that ahead of time, though?
Well, partially, yeah. But this is one of the things that when Amy and I are watching movies, we're actually trying to clock people's accents and see where things are bleeding through.
Was it worse?
And you can see it a lot of times when people get really worked up in a scene and they're yelling or something, like, oh, that just came through.
Yeah, it slips a little bit.
Was it worse than the Irish one we had back in the movie? What was the movie?
I know which one you're talking about.
Wait, which?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Ronan.
What's his name?
That's right.
No, hers was worse.
No, not hers. What's his name? Crap, the guy from Brazil. He was the main bad guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's British, but he was playing a really bad Irish. No, that was
they were both pretty bad. So okay, so because to me, I was like, he sounds like Matthew Broderick. Like
I said that. I said he's trying to do a Ferris Bueller impersonation.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his inspiration.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see that being a really good mechanism for kind of holding an accent, is basing it off of an American actor and like imitating them.
Yeah, someone with that confidence and swagger, you know.
Yeah, I didn't really hate his accent or lack thereof or whatever very much.
For me, I know what he sounded like in other movies, so to hear that American accent, you can tell it's put on, but it didn't take me out of the movie.
For me, I had watched Trainspotting after Hackers. So my first experience with him was with the American accent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a quick aside, who's the best faker? Who's the best British person doing an American accent?
I really like
ever?
House.
There's a lot.
I really like House.
Hugh Laurie does an amazing
really
American accent. Holy cow!
What about Gary Oldman?
Dude, he's 100%.
Very good. I forgot he was British.
Yeah, he's amazing too. Yeah, two really good examples there.
Yeah. Jamie, did I ask? Yeah, I did ask you favorite character. So, like, here's some information on the movie regarding the characters. Jonny Lee Miller was pretty much tagged for this role, but people who they tried to play Angelina Jolie's character, there was Hilary Swank was an option, Heather Graham, Liv Tyler, and is it Katherine Heigl? She was actually the one that was supposed to get it, but turned it down for Under Siege 2.
Oh
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
No!
Thank you, Katherine Heigl, for Angelina Jolie's career.
For releasing Angelina Jolie's career. Yeah.
As I said, was it not Plague? Freak was read for Robin twice. A lot of these characters you see were actually reading for parts, and they kept them. So Lillard and Joey and those guys, they were actually reading for parts just to read off of, kind of like Harrison Ford's character. You know, Harrison read the part, and he's like, you know what, we kind of like you, Harrison. Let's keep you in. That's kind of what happened.
It kind of felt like that. Now you say that, it kind of felt like that. It felt like they weren't quite there yet.
Well, it's a lot of new. There were a lot of new actors.
Yeah, but you know, you need to be a certain way to play main characters on a big screen, and they felt like they were like the B team. That's what it felt like at that point. I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's kind of why I'm like Angelina Jolie. She's just naturally more charismatic. Maybe she's a naturally a better actor too. But it felt like she was the one that kind of like held her own in the scenes.
She was once they saw the chemistry between Jonny Lee Miller and Jolie. They was like, this is it. This has to be
that was real, right? They ended up
getting married. They actually got married soon after. Yeah, they got married soon after and divorced soon after that. Yeah. So I think it was like a 2-year process of movie.
And Angelina Jolie saw Brad Pitt.
And there goes Rachel's husband. So what do you take a guess? I'll give you a hint. Take a guess who they want to play the Plague. Tyler
Pauly Shore.
No, I'll give you a hint. He's a director.
Oh, damn it.
He's an actual
Spielberg.
director. Good try. No.
George Lucas.
No. One more guess, Jamie.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh God.
Ooh, that would have been really bad.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Angelina's feet, I guess, in this movie.
Oh,
but
I'm gonna have a 10-minute monologue of talking about code and 70s music and
I like Tyler's. I like Fisher Stevens, but I did not like this character. It was too over the top. That was the person who kept playing it over the top.
Can we edit in my last comments when I thought you were talking about him?
No editing.
Okay.
Just copy paste.
Yeah,
I did want to mention.
We'll have the same feelings about it. It was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all.
It felt like they're trying to get an actor who can be nerdy, right?
Yeah.
A hacker, computer guy, but still badass, and they didn't get
threatening.
Yeah, like
but you don't need that though. You could have a very intelligent non-nerd hacking.
I know.
Guy.
Yeah, totally. But that's what they're going for.
That's what they went for though. In the look of him, they had the big leather jacket, the dyed beard, the long hair, the evil, sinister, and then they stuck a freaking skateboard in his hand and got him to get towed behind the limousine.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Here.
He's being towed by the limo.
Yeah.
He's like, oh God,
because he's down with the kid.
He's so
when he grabbed for that disc, you can see him kind of, I'm gonna fall.
That's why they put the smoke over there, because he wobbled off and fell off and hit a cobblestone.
There's like some assistants with padding just chasing in case he falls.
Hey, what's the best way of us getting this disc so that anyone know who I am? Dangle off the side of this limousine in full view of everyone on a cobblestone street with tracks for a tram going through it, which is a skater's worst nightmare. It doesn't matter how big your truck is.
Just like rattling over the cobblestone.
Who's that coming? Stay in the freaking limousine and wind down the windows that are blacked out, for Christ's sake.
Like every bad guy in every other movie does.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, they tried really hard with the bad guys
he's so
to
rad.
make them just awful.
It was really bad. But I get that. One of the things that did tick me off about this movie was the poor is it ADR, the audio recording, especially when in the escalator scene when they're trying to.
Yep.
Yeah, they're explaining the whole plot of the Da Vinci virus. It just like you knew they were not in that room.
Yeah.
Everything they really want to film in that room because that was an area where the director and the writers were inspired by the hacker generation. I think it was the building where he was introduced to this whole world, and so they had to film there. But it's just the audio was really bad in this movie, and that's what frustrated me the most about it.
For me, there was one scene where I'm like, Angelina Jolie didn't say screw there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, I before I go into favorite scenes, I did want to talk about why Penn is in here from Penn and Teller.
Oh yeah,
because that surprised me.
A little out of place.
Like even when I saw it, I'm like, I recognize him. Isn't he a magician? Because Penn was well known. Penn and Teller were well known at this time.
Still are.
Not to this, not to the degree they are now, but they were recognizable. They were doing shows. They were
pretty famous back then too.
Yeah, but Penn, one of the consultants' name was Nicholas Jarecki or something like that. I think he's a director now. Nicholas Jarecki, yeah. And at the age of 12, first of all, Penn and Teller had this website up, and they challenged hackers to hack it. It was a challenge that Penn usually does. He does these weird things like make out these challenges. He's made a video game that was like ride a bus for like 12 hours or something like that.
Power
I think
washing?
it was. Yeah, power washing. Exactly. So
called out.
Nicholas Jarecki actually hacked the site at the age of 12. And so he was one of those hackers. So they asked him to be a consultant. There's another consultant, Mark Abin, I think his name was. He was known as Fiber Optic. He was a well-known hacker at the time. He was one of the people that got the idea started, but he couldn't be on set because he was in jail for about a year because of hacking some sort of website.
Did he
or
hack
something like
the
that.
Gibson?
He hacked the Gibson. He was in jail for a year. So then he was the age of 22 when he did that. So a little older for a hacker, I guess. But I want to talk about favorite scenes, and I'll start with Steve 3 because I know you have so many.
Oh.
But is there a scene that you really enjoyed from this movie?
I really enjoyed. God,
Get your answers ready, Hose Nose and Jamie.
Yeah. I don't even have any written down. I got quotes written down, which were interesting, but
I picked a great movie, didn't I?
No, it's not even. It's just that the story was there, the movie was there, but the scenes per se, that's what I'm struggling with. The ones that really stand out. Most of it was just quotes that made me laugh. You know, the scene where she goes into the bathroom to pick up the disc. Like, to me, there's so many questions involved with the scenes and the things that I was watching. Like, I placed it in that thing where I found that thing once, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. And then,
but there's some though. They get it. She knew where it was.
She ended up a condom machine.
Yeah.
In a boy's toilet. Yeah.
Clearly, he's hidden something there before.
Or he found
and
something.
It's just like they're shorthand, right?
Yeah, it was weird. So anyway, that scene was interesting, but again, didn't blow me away. It was an interesting scene.
Okay.
Just everything just felt a little bit over the top.
Jamie. Oh my God, you guys are killing me.
But it's because of that. It's because the movie was there as a whole, but the scenes themselves were just so bitty.
Yeah. And there's so much. Like a lot of the scenes I feel like are kind of pulled down a little bit by all their like fixation on this crazy, like all the fractals and the algorithms and shit on the screen. And like, no, we don't need this. Like even back when the movie came out on home video, we were like, that's cheesy as fuck. But and like it detracts from the movie. So like there are good scenes in there. Like I like for his kind of, I don't know, cliche as it is, the scene in the high school in the literature class, like that, like no high school student is going to quote Ginsberg. So I don't know if they're just trying to make like Jonny Lee Miller's character seem that much smarter that, he knows Ginsberg, he can quote it. And like it did well at establishing the characters in that scene as well. Like Kate is quoting her mom, who's a militant feminist, and Matthew Lillard is quoting Ozzy Osbourne because he doesn't know what he's doing there. Like that was a fun scene. And the teacher seemed pretty cool. Like thankfully the teacher wasn't like, "Oh, you damn kids." Like he was actually like appreciating like Jonny Lee Miller's like quote of Ginsberg. He's like, "Oh, okay then." So, like that was a decent scene. Like, I mean, I have a fun. I'm just gonna get into it now because nobody else is gonna call this out. The douchebag motorcycle riding boyfriend of Kate Libby at the first little bit, he rides the most dorky motorcycle ever. Ask me how I know.
How do you know,
Jamie?
I ride that motorcycle.
Do you wear a Fox racing shirt with it?
No. Guess what? Nobody who rides that motorcycle wears a Fox racing shirt because that is the most practical, least sexy motorcycle in the existence of motorcycles. It is a KLR 650 from the 90s with the 90s paint scheme that makes it look like a Daisy Cup.
Daisy Cup.
I'm serious.
The
KLR 650 is the dorkiest motorcycle.
Wow. That's one of the scenes as well. I made a note of saying, how long did they stare? And there was a couple of scenes of how long they were staring at her making out with a boyfriend. There's two scenes in particular where they were just watching.
Like, it's a hacking movie, and he wasn't riding like a Kawasaki Ninja or a dirt bike.
He wasn't a
that
hacker,
is like super loud.
Supposed to be a dirt
that's
bike.
The thing, though. He's this badass motorcycle riding guy. He rides off. I'm like, holy shit! They even captured what that bike sounds like. That was the actual engine sound of that bike, and it did not sound badass. He revved it, and it went. It was so bad.
You know what was badass? Angelina didn't wear a helmet in that scene.
Oh,
he puts his helmet on, but she's like, "I'm such a badass hacker."
No,
she cuts her hair like a helmet.
But isn't that the character though?
He did that guy dirty. Unless they're trying to say that he's a poser.
He is a poser. What's he do?
But like,
that's like showing up for a BMX race with a rally grifter.
But the guy was a douchebag. He was a complete douchebag. He was a loser.
He seemed superficial enough that he would at least have like a Ducati or a Ninja or something.
Yeah.
But weren't they supposed to be radical nerds and he was just a jock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know. He wasn't even a jock.
He was like, "You're not going to get into that computer stuff now, are you?"
Yeah,
he was cool, right? He was.
I want to make out.
Yeah, he was a dirt bike rider with a moped.
He was a douchebag, but he was at least cool enough to have a cool motorcycle, not like a dad bike, basically.
Was it a dad bike?
Commuter.
Yes, that bike has never been cool.
Okay, I don't know. She was wearing a Suzuki jacket,
The more
right?
you know.
Yeah, she wasn't even wearing the jacket of the maker of his bike.
Yeah.
She's like, "No, I'm gonna wear a Suzuki jacket. I'm not with that guy."
I like their clothes. They were all dressed in cool, like at one point they were wearing shin pads. Yeah, well, I wouldn't even say 90s fashion, but it was like at one point I think Angelina Jolie was wearing like rollerblade shin pads from a hockey game or something like that, and a Quicksilver shirt.
You know why? You don't want to hack the bone. That's why.
Yeah.
Hack the bone.
Exactly. Yeah, they all dressed like they were auditioning for like a Mad Max musical.
I dug it. I dug Jonny Lee Miller's style. But
I have a question related to that. When you talk about the fashion and Jonny Lee Miller's style, I have a note in my watching the movie notes, and it says, "Is he wearing a giant cock harness on his leg?" Because there was
wearing some kind of holster.
There was one scene where you see him walking without his jacket on, and it's like a leather.
Yeah,
and it's not a dog harness. It looks like an enlarged cock harness,
gear, right? Yeah, 100%. I had the same thought.
There's a weird red and silver studded harness just underneath his thigh and before his knee.
I gotta look for this now.
Yeah,
I'm
not going to look for cock harness. That's not.
It looked like they couldn't get Mobius to design their gear.
That totally reminded me of at one point. speaking of Mobius and sunglasses, they were all wearing Oakleys of the time.
Yeah.
They're all different brands of Oakleys because I know because me and my friends had the same sunglasses. So like, oh,
Okay.
you find
Hose
it yet?
Nose. No, I've stopped looking. Hose Nose. Did you have any favorite scenes? Because I have a whole page.
No, I did not.
Oh, for Christ! Oh my God! It's another.
All right,
water
Rob,
roll.
over to you. Hit us.
Yeah, here we go. Unload.
Well, first of all, I got to talk about the pool on the roof because this is a joke I still tell my students.
Oh man.
I tell my students about the
to
pool
the end
on the
scene?
roof. No,
What? No, that's the beginning scene.
That's like
Oh.
the first
Cool.
scene.
See how they bookended that?
I see. I didn't even get the pool on the roof at the end until I finally watched him. Like, oh my God, pool on the roof. Now I get it. Right? It's just
There
like
we are.
it
There
came
we
full.
are.
It's like poetry. It rhymes, and it's just like I like that scene with the sprinkler system and stuff. I think that
Now, you know they don't actually test fire sprinkler systems by just turning them on, right?
No.
I missed that scene. I must have been in the kitchen.
That's what his revenge was for the pool on the thing was he hacks the fire suppression system at the school, and at like 9:30 he puts up his umbrella and everybody else gets soaking wet.
Oh, maybe
sweet,
if I'd
sweet
seen that, it would have been a
revenge.
different movie for me.
yeah, that's what did it right there, sir. I found funny seeing Mark Anthony in this movie. I don't know why.
yes.
Yeah, that was
Because it's
weird.
Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it just
does
threw
not
me
belong.
off. I didn't know who that was until after marrying my Mexican wife, who Mark Anthony was, because we watched the movie and she's like, holy shit, what's Mark Anthony doing in this movie? And he's a huge Latino musician even before this time, so that surprised me. But I mean, it was. By the way, Jamie, did you see? There was 2 hockey jerseys in this movie.
Yeah, there's New Jersey Devils,
Yeah,
worn by Kate Livy in the literature
English
class.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The second one,
I think it was an oil jersey, wasn't it?
nope.
A Flames?
What?
Yes, it was a Flames jersey.
Yeah,
Was
I
it?
knew it.
Yeah, in the hallway.
Somebody's walking down the hall. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
it's like an extra.
Yeah, he was an extra just walking in the
Yeah.
hallway.
No, I
surprised
appreciated
about that.
the black and red New Jersey Devils
Yeah.
jersey. That was
Yeah,
good.
it's nice.
Yeah.
I dug it whenever serial killer was on the screen. He was a lot of fun. I mean, when they're meeting up with Lord Nikon and those guys, and it was just I like the goofiness of what he was doing, especially at the end when he's talking. He's letting everybody know about the plan, and he's on like.
I like the show with the hosts. Was the show just called Hack the Planet?
Yeah, it was Hack the Planet. Yeah, with
that show was fun.
yeah, and they're showing you how to cheat the
Dude, I
payphone
appreciated that Freak actually did freaking in the movie. And not the way you're thinking because you're laughing right now.
No, I'm just I'm not.
where
There's no way.
Where you're doing the tone that makes a payphone think that you.
Is that what it's called?
That's
I didn't
called
know that-
freaking.
I did
with
not
a
know that was
PH.
what it's called.
Yeah, we
Maybe
learned
that's
that
why
in-
they call
in
him that
War
because
Games.
he's so good at it.
Probably, yeah. It seems to be his thing, right? He did it
Yeah.
multiple times, and he was always on the phone.
What
Yeah.
happened to him after that phone call though? Because they were really going to give him what for in prison, man.
Oh yes. Well, that was in the sequel, Con Air. So that's what happened exactly. I did like it when serial killer was on that screen and he's going over. Yeah, it was a little over the top, but he's going over the whole thing, and he's just like, I kind of feel like God, and it just kind of echoes, and it's just. The whole thing was just a lot of fun for me, just seeing them do like trying to get back at the FBI director or whatever his name was, and they're trying to screw him over by
The Secret Service.
by putting his wanted in a sex site or making him dead, and it was just like it's a competition.
fun.
It was
It
messed
was,
up.
It was seemed too comical for me though at that point. It was too comical.
This isn't serious. Like
No,
what
but
did
it
you
was
think
just
this
a
was
little-
serious
but-
movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed a little too comical at that point.
Okay, let's talk about the music then. Let's talk about the music because, like I said, this music was like my gateway into techno music, and the album itself. I mean, when I
This
go
is
into
where it started. This is where Tires was born.
this dude, like, well, Pet Shop. I was into Pet Shop Boys and and some of that sort of stuff. It was electronic, but not heavily electronic. But then when I heard this album, I was just like, I'm pulling it up right now because on
The
there,
soundtrack is pretty iconic.
it is like Cowgirl.
It's the saving grace. The saving grace of this whole movie was the soundtrack.
Yeah,
100%. And by not
Okay.
ever watching this movie, every single time they played another track from the soundtrack, I liked this even more. And I think that's why I would watch it again, because it took me right back to my 90s. 100%.
So did you,
Yeah,
Steve? Did
I
you
agree.
recognize a lot of these bands?
All of it.
Yeah.
It was a soundtrack of my life, man. Like
Okay.
every single Massive Attack, Stereo MCs, The Prodigy,
Oh,
Left Field,
yeah.
like all of it was what you would listen to back in the day.
Yeah.
But yet nobody did any drugs in this movie whatsoever.
No, not a single. They lost smoking. A lot of
Yeah,
cigarettes.
mostly just Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I felt for Joey. Joey was a good character
you?
because he was such a loser. But he was they still had him tailing around. He's going to get his name soon, you know.
That one scene though where he's at the addictions class or whatever, and like, oh, yeah, and he's smoking the cigarette and drinking the coffee, and it's like, oh,
I'm not an addict.
I'm not an addict. But it's like, I don't think that guy had ever smoked a cigarette in his life before that scene. The way he was holding things.
I mean, he was fucking 12.
Yeah, but anyway, that's stupid. That's what I was getting at. It was
That's how he got his addiction. He's a chain smoker now. All right, so like on the first album, we had Underworld, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. Cowgirl is just killer. I like at school today, I was playing the Hacker soundtrack. The kids did not give a crap what I was playing.
I downloaded a Spotify playlist for the Hackers because you can't buy that original album on iTunes. You've got to go and find it, the original album with the original 12 songs.
Yeah, it's like YouTube has playlists, but they leave out a few songs. They left out like Stereo MCs for some reason, and that was the cheesiest. Yeah, I love it, but that was the cheesiest song of the whole list because that's the one that actually made top.
That
20.
album is great, Rob.
It's
you got
great.
that album? Yeah,
it's great. I love it. Prodigy was on there before, Smack My Bitch Up. Urban Dance Squad, Good Grief, which they played in the club, is just awesome. I go heavy for that one. The second, the Halcyon and On, which is the second version of that song, is just amazing. It was the original song. It's a song that started the movie, and it is just I just tune out when I
Left Field and Johnny Lydon.
Left Field.
So good.
Oh my God, so good. The second album had Orb again. Prodigy was on there, but that was a Firestarter. It introduced me to Scooter. Steve, do you know who Scooter is?
No.
Anybody here know who Scooter is?
Yep.
Jamie, you know who Scooter is?
Probably because of this movie.
Have you listened to any of their other music?
No.
You want friggin' cheesy music? Listen to Scooter.
It might be. I feel like there's a bit of overlap in the soundtrack between Hackers and the first Matrix movie.
Possibly.
Same kind of thing though, right?
Yeah,
Same
vibe. I'm sure there's some of the same artists on there. So yeah, I might be mixing this up with Matrix.
Because Scooter is a heavy techno German band. And their music is so friggin' cheesy. It is like, I love it to death. It's like the Waterworld of music. All right. I know you guys would hate it. There's like, how much is the fish? Mind the Gap, Fire, Jigga Jigga. It's just the stupidest names. All he does is just this German guy yelling at you to get up and dance the whole time. And then how much is the fish?
Isn't that just all techno?
No. Don't you
all
dare.
techno to some guy saying boots very fast.
Boots
and
or
cats.
Boots and Cats.
Or
Yeah.
The System is down.
Well, don't forget the team who Rage Against the Machine that we saw perform live at the end.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wait, Rage Against the Machine was performing live in this movie?
No, there's the Timu version. Yeah, there was actually. But then,
Unionized
Hang on,
the
you mean at the club?
Yeah,
that was
the Dutch
sorry,
urban
dance squad.
real
Urban
band.
dance squad.
Yeah, I remember. Because when I came on, names said, "What was this like knockoff Rage?"
Rage Against the
And
Machine. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, "Yes, it is." And then I Shazammed it. I'm like, "This is an actual band."
yeah.
It is an actual
I
band.
think they're from the
Friggin'
Netherlands,
rocked.
right? They're Netherlands, like a Dutch band, I think.
I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Orbital
what a
was on this.
rip-off.
Chicane was there, Left Field, as you said. BT was on the second one. Now, I don't know if you guys know who BT is. BT is like, I'm just talking to the techno guys out there now. BT is an amazing, talented artist who I bought every single album from. It's really good stuff. Brian Truno, or I can't remember his full name, but BT's done some amazing work. Very talented, gifted artist.
Did Matrix come out before or after this?
I don't know.
99.
Yeah.
So
Matrix is a lot heavier. Matrix's music was a lot heavier.
Yeah, they actually got Rage Against the Machine.
They did. They got Rage.
Get that.
You don't want that here. This is not Rage Against the Machine. No, it is not. It is not Rage Against the Machine. This is not that style of music.
I mean, they're pretty.
But the Urban Dance Squad were very Rage Against the Machine.
That was the closest you're going to get compared to everything else.
Their hacker group in the movie feels like a bunch of anarchists.
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
what Rage Against the Machine is all about.
It's a bunch of anarchists sucking on Capri Suns. Again, it's just that's what it
Capri
is.
Suns.
Again with the Capri Suns, yeah. So and the third album I'm not going to talk about because there wasn't anything really else on that one. But
Steve 3's right. They're
What?
from the Amsterdam-based rock pop collective.
What was the name of the? If you got it pulled up, what's the? I don't remember the name of the lead singer, but I remember just laughing.
Was he wearing like a fez or something like that?
No, it's like a hat. It was like a train conductor's hat from a cartoon.
I was distracted by the woman wearing the chandelier.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
how the hell do you wear a chandelier
like that? Just like that.
Just like that. There was one other band that was on here. Moby was on there, but any which way.
But that was on the third album though. That's when they started just to put everything.
No, Moby was on the second one.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the movie.
Fluke, that was the other one. Fluke was on the third one, but I was digging Fluke at that time. So any which way, did you like the music at all, Hose Nose? I don't know if this is your style or not. There was no tragically up on it.
It did not bother me. No, I didn't mind it.
I didn't hate it.
The little known fact in university in the late 90s, Hose Nose had his own techno dance kid phase where I did listen to a lot of techno, a lot of house and all that stuff. There's probably some pictures of me out there that probably look a lot like Matthew Lillard. So
did you braid your hair?
I want to see those.
I did not braid my hair, but
braid your beard.
Yeah,
I did. I braided. I had long hair down to my. I had long hair down to my shoulders, and I did the corn, like the mini corn braids in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
amazing.
I had a toque and a goatee beard, and a big pair of shit kicker boots with baggy pants. I was proper 90s man.
So in 99, at the turn of the millennial, I was at a rave.
Yeah,
waiting for things to happen. Anyway, I won't get into it, but I was at a rave when the new millennial happened. So
yeah,
I think that's when I went to a rave
in Salisbury Cathedral in the year 2000 when it clicked over, waiting for the computers to stop and the phones to die.
Oh, nice. I've been to one rave. I went there for the music. Everybody kept offering me drugs, and I was like, "No, I'm here for the music." I just wanted to listen to the music. That's all.
Everyone's there for the music.
It was weird. I went with Anil. Me and Anil went. We were invited, and we had to go to this one place and make a phone call to a special number, and they would announce where the place was.
Whoa!
That's a proper rave, man.
Yeah,
like a
and
modern.
It was out.
Yeah,
it was out in Richmond near the river, near Knight Street. I remember it was this warehouse, and everybody was out there, and it was. I remember going there with Anil.
That's the way it would work, man. That's the way it would work. No one had internet, and no one even had cell phones, right? You had to phone someone's house phone to let you know, and then call the other person's house phone, and then you'd all meet somewhere and wait to get that message. I remember once going to one up on the hill in Wiltshire where I was. We're up on the hill, and there was an old hilltop fort there, and you could go into the woods, and you couldn't hear anything, you couldn't see anything, and you drive up through these narrow lanes, pitch black, just trying to make your way into this clearing. And in this clearing were all the hippies with their vans, and their vans had the sound systems and the flower lights, and it was just a different world at that point. And then from the top of the hill, you could look across like the highway, and see everyone coming up from surrounding towns, all the car lights coming into this area, and then it would just go crazy till the sun came up.
If you build it, they will come.
And you were wearing rollerblades while you did it.
Yeah,
no rollerblades. Rollerblades never existed in my life. That's pretty cool. Roller skates existed at one point, but rollerblades never existed in my life.
There's a movie
What about
I've always
glow
wanted.
sticks?
Yeah,
Glow sticks. I don't remember. There's too many jokes.
There's a movie I want to check out that's I haven't put on my list, but I want to. It's a rollerblade movie.
Oh, please don't make us watch it, Rob.
It looks really bad, but I kind of want to see it. So.
God.
Is it the Rollerball remake?
No. It's about this kid who comes to a new high school and he's a fish out of water kind of thing, but he really knows how to
Footloose
surf.
with rollerblades?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta find it again. It's really cool. But anyways, I don't want to torture you guys. So Jamie and Hosnos are gonna get this reference. Remember with that scene where Ralphie is taking Lisa to the thing, and then he just this you can see the point where his heart breaks.
Oh,
This is kind of what happened to me in this.
Yeah.
We're gonna rewind this, and you're gonna find the point where my heart breaks.
Yeah,
after
yeah.
You guys tell me about how you like the movie.
We catfished you by not being angry when you said the name of the movie. Just the old bait and switch.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
What about quotes?
I didn't even bother because you guys were not like.
Nah, let's do quotes.
Okay,
good one.
Why don't we just read off what we got?
Yeah, sure. Give me a quote, Steve. 3.
Nice score for a girl.
Oh God, that's the quote you got.
No, that's one.
Okay,
The other one is, it's
Hey.
not cool. It's some commie bullshit.
Well,
His
okay.
manifesto.
I want to talk about the manifesto. That's an actual manifesto. He was reading it straight from a manifesto that comes from 1986 by a guy called Lord Blankenship. He was known as the Mentor. And this manifesto,
Kenny Blankenship?
Kenny.
Yes, he's Kenny's dad. When he got into hacking, this was a real manifesto. And it was a real movement back in the time. So they were actually reading from it, and it was there to kind of make the young officer kind of connect and have second thoughts about what he's doing. As deep as it's going to go for the movie, but it just kind of made the young guy kind of feel for him. So, but that was an actual manifesto. So just one phrase. I didn't read it. I've listened to the whole thing, and it's quite interesting, and it's kind of still speaks to a lot of people today. When we talk about how the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and who are the real villains here? Who are the real thieves? So,
it did ring
man.
pretty familiar as
Yeah.
he was reading it off. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Hose Nose, do you have any quotes?
Never fear, I is here.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say that.
Also, one of the dumbest lines ever written in
It
movie
is so
history.
stupid. I love it. Jamie?
Yeah.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one is the Matthew Lillard in the English class. He rattles off that Ozzy Osbourne quote, and then he looks around. And he's like, "What? This isn't woodshop?" It's pretty funny. It was delivered in a way that only Matthew Lillard can.
Yeah. I love
It was high school, just goofy shenanigans.
Oh, you kids. Anything else at all?
I got a couple others.
Go for it.
Come back to me. No.
None.
You're not-
Like,
keep
everybody
going.
just kind of went through their list.
All right.
Oh.
I'll finish it with Lillard and may the force be with you, man.
Right.
That was nice to hear. Yeah.
I did like the recurring joke of Matthew Lillard's character always asking, "Hey, so can I crash at your house tonight, man?" Like
Yeah.
he's like John Belushi. He's America's house guest. Yeah.
That's a scene I remember making me laugh. Is when he shows up at the, I don't know their handles or their
Lord
names.
Nikon.
Lord Nikon.
Yeah, it shows up at the house. He said, "Hey, can I crash at your place again tonight?" He's like, "Again, really?" And you think, "Oh wow!" And he's like, "Yeah, man!" And they all like get excited, and they're going to be
Yeah.
staying over again.
Do their
That was
little
fun.
like ninja
Yeah.
moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a tight group.
I liked Lord Nikon. I didn't get his name until I got older. I was like, oh, of course, Nikon camera,
He's got a
photographic memory.
photograph from
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, man.
Did you see the power glove in the scene, by the way? There's a
Yeah, when they were tearing apart Joey's shit.
yeah.
He had a power glove.
There was a scene there's a quote I liked. It's a wake up call for the Nintendo generation. I don't know why I kind of dug that one, but anytime Matthew Lillard was kind of goofing around and stuff, there's one scene where Freak was going to Joey's. Hey, Boy Meets World, let's go. I thought it was a great call. So I found it funny. They were talking about passwords that the most common passwords, and there were 3-4 letters. And now I think today it's obviously you got to have an uppercase, lowercase, a number, and a character.
It's because of this movie.
36 bits.
Not really.
This movie changed the world.
Yeah. What is it? Love, secret, sex, and then number 4 is God.
God. Jamie, any
God
other
wouldn't be up this late. I actually it was a line that Penn Jillette delivered when he called the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his last name, but it was like Goldstein or something. It was something super nerdy. And he's like, I told you it's the plague. And he's like, okay, Mr. the Plague. Like, it was funny. I love Penn Jillette.
The plague name is actually from one of their friends. That was his handle. So is there any other stuff before we get our scores here? I'm just looking through my notes here. I talked about
we're going to talk about Hack the Planet and hacking the Gibson. I still say that shit to this day.
Hack the planet all the time.
Hack the Gibson, hack the planet 100%.
Well, you guys were mentioning about the graphics and stuff. They weren't realistic, as obviously.
No, they were brutal.
And they weren't meant to be. There was the director had a conscious effort to make it how they see it rather than what it actually is. It's just the imagery of what goes in their minds.
It felt like an old person trying to come up with something to appeal to younger kids.
But this guy wasn't like an old person. He was really trying to speak to the youth. And he was trying to get
and show what the actual hacking looks like.
Well, and you know what?
Typing on a keyboard, it's boring.
Right after this, did the auto we're going to play next? It was Antitrust. Have you guys seen that? From a few years later.
Yeah.
But they do show actual code.
Yeah.
Right, and that was more interesting than swirly doodads on
the
screen.
In the second Matrix movie, they show an actual hack that was used, that was valid at one point in time. They show Trinity typing it out. So
I don't remember
his head.
I don't remember that. So.
It's in a fucking Matrix movie. It's got to be cool.
No. I love Matrix.
I'm just
movies.
saying.
I love it. So
it felt like, I know that wasn't the intended spirit of it, but it felt like a boomer talking down to the youths with the graphics.
I think it was. I don't fully agree with that, but I can see that. Yeah, this movie. Before we wrap it up, this movie was supposed to come out before the movies Johnny Mnemonic, Virtuosity, and The Net came out the same year, and they decided they're going to wait and see how they do, and then we'll come up. It actually backfired on them, and they were competing against movies like Tu Wong Fu, Dangerous Minds, and Spike Lee's movie Clockers. And
did this make any money?
I was good. Spent 2 weeks in theaters.
Oh wow!
2 weeks.
2
weeks. Extended.
2 weeks. It costed them $20 million. How much do you think they made? Joe. Sorry, I was going to call it Joey. Steve 3.
Joey.
Boy Meets World. Well, how much money do you think this made?
Boy Meets World.
20 million.
20 million. So you think it just broke even?
Yeah.
Awesome. Jamie?
I'd say 25.
Hose?
I'm going to say 15.
7.5 million.
Holy shit.
This movie only made its money back off of movie sale or DVD sales, video sales, because soon after it became a massive cult hit. And people of this generation, there can be a point, I think, where it plateaued because of it is, as you're saying, for a lot of people, dated. But it did make its money back through those sales.
People heard the music, went out and bought the albums, went back and bought the movie because they wanted to see where it originated.
Trying to find drugs from their kids' friends.
Yeah.
No, the soundtrack is
the saving grace.
Stand out. Yeah, 100%. It helped this movie so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you rating this? I'm going to start with How are you rating this, Jamie? Let's start with you.
Oh, don't come for me.
I don't give a shit anymore. I'm
yeah.
coming for you. Jamie, how'd you rate this?
Phrasing.
Grab your
God
handle.
damn
Tell
it.
me what you scored.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing my handle right now.
Put your power glove on. Then
then grab your
Then you grab
handle.
the
Look
handle.
at that.
There you go.
Yeah, I do. Did anybody ever say handle?
Yeah.
Unironically?
A handle is your name.
I know what it means, Rob.
Yeah,
In
I know.
CB in the CB world.
Is that from the
Yeah.
10-4 good, buddy.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I was learning about that. 10-1, 10-2, 10-4.
Yeah, this is God.
Speaking out of 10.
I'm gonna call this 4 hacked Gibsons out of 10.
Less than what I thought you were going to start with, but more than when after my 5 minutes of this podcast. Knows.
Dude, I feel so bad, but this movie did not hold up. It was silly back then, and it's sillier now.
I'm bringing back this question. Worse than Waterworld?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll take it.
No, I would happily watch this movie over Waterworld.
Hose Nose, what's your score?
I was going to give it a solid 4 rollerblades out of 10.
That's how many rollerblades on a rollerblade. How many wheels on a rollerblade?
I would also watch this over Waterworld.
Anybody rollerblade?
Yeah,
I used to rollerblade.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to redo my rating.
Okay.
I would like to call it 4-cylinder motorcycle engine out of 10, which is 3 more cylinders than the KLR 650 has. The KLR 650 puts out a whopping 30 horsepower out of a single cylinder engine, kids. It is not sexy. It's what you strap a milk crate on the back of to go get your groceries.
That's why he's a douche, dude. He's a teenager. He's a teenage douche. I got a
They
motorcycle.
just got it wrong. It's probably the only thing they had on the back lot. And they said, yeah, put him in this jersey. He's cool. And put him on this bike.
I think I know why.
Food delivery guy's got a motorcycle.
As long as it's not